Hi, everybody. Welcome to Crazy Bee's Talk Show on Tits Tuesday. Yes, that's right. Crazy Bee Talk Show. And we're adding a little sin to our show. Yes, that's right. We have Cinthia Brown in the house. Hello. We got sin on Tits Tuesdays. Yes, that's right, folks. We got Loren Molloy, who's, all this craziness. And we got Jessica Pallitto. Yes, yes. She makes face cake and many other things. Face cake is from Heal the Horror Movie. You can check it out on Venmo. Yeah. And Cinthia is part of the Happy Horrors Productions team, and I love saying we have Sin on Tuesday night.
Sin's really awesome. I had some time with Sin in the car on the way up to New York, and you make me feel like I'm not crazy or I'm not, like I could talk to her and she'd be like, "Oh, all right, yeah, no, I feel that." She's very empathetic in that way, and no judgment there, which is really, really nice too.
You're gonna get the least amount of judgment from me.
It's true.
No, yeah. Well, your family is really wonderful. Yeah, she comes from a very wonderful family.
They're all psychic, folks. That's right. The Brown family.
What are they?
All powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both the mom and dad, and of course the kids,
dad,
that's just how it works.
Both daughters, probably everybody else in the frickin' family. And when
All
I met the Brown family,
Yeah.
the first time I met the Brown family, I was just like, oh, I like this energy. I need to hug them. And I don't like touching people. So I was just like, we can hug. And there's a picture of all of us like, I'm like, fam.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a couple of pictures like that floating around somewhere.
It really is. I just saw one somewhere too. I'll have to find it again.
Yeah, there was one. I forget what convention it was though, but
it was in the basement of a haunted abandoned church. Yes.
Yeah, it was in the basement of a church, but
and
I forget.
Father Evil was there with his son Xavier. Mm-hmm. I loved them. And I kept getting in trouble.
You and Mom were in the basement of the church. And, then there were a couple of people that were upstairs. I think Father Evil was upstairs. A couple other people that we know are up there too.
Yeah.
But I got to explore the whole thing. It was actually really cool looking. It was really pretty.
I kept trying to break into little side rooms. They're like the bell tower, and they're like, that's not for you. And I'm like, yes, it is.
Because I said so.
I smoked a bowl right like outside where the iron gates are. Somebody walked by. I'm like, this isn't for you. I have to go back to work. Couldn't give a fuck. Everybody for the TV show that's watching, I am a medical marijuana patient. I have a card for New York State. I'm legal. So when you see me smoking this, yes, I am smoking cannabis. But one of the reasons I do it on every single show that I run is to show you that cannabis isn't like you've been taught. I am this level of person at all times, day and night, and I can smoke 7 blunts to my face and still argue on a panel and have people like, oh, Lord, she just made a good point. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it on purpose. I want all of the people who watch it to understand that it's not the propaganda and bullshit that you've been taught to believe. My mind runs this fast no matter how much I smoke, but I have fibromyalgia and I have a bunch of other stuff that I'm not even really owning anymore because energy-wise, you always get taught, don't own it, let it go by and through you instead stick with you, But that's why you'll see me with my little Jake bowl. If you go on wish.com, they call it a Jake bowl, Jake. I swear to God, instead of Jack Skellington. But don't use Wish, get it from somewhere else. I'm just saying, I thought it was really funny. But that's why you'll see me on the show, smoking my Jack bowl so that everybody knows. And one, it's part of my everyday life. They saw me on set. I smoked and we still got everything done, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
I had that Curaleaf e-cigarette thing that was cannabis only in my mouth, like it was a cigar the whole time.
I thought that was nicotine. Oh, that was so you were smoking and had that thing hanging out.
Yeah, I love it too. Like I drove with it in my mouth. I'm like, it's like a stogie. I swear, I was a man in way too many lifetimes because I was just like driving with the thing in my mouth, taking like video while I'm directing with it. I'm like, I felt more like a person in charge of my own life with that thing hanging out of my mouth. Which is not a healthy statement at all. But I used to do that as a kid with a regular pen. And my mom's like, that's not healthy. And I'm like, That feels comfortable. Like, I don't know. I literally do everything basically one-handed because I always have a bowl in it, basically. You'll see me. I actually had to hand it to Cinthia a bunch of times. Like, just hold this, which means it was a big fucking deal if I had to hand the bowl off to Cin to hold gently while I do something. But I still get it all done. And that's one of the reasons that I'm always smoking on our shows is one, I'm legally allowed. I get it from, dispensaries and all that stuff. But really, if people aren't aware and able to see someone talking, acting, thinking stuff this fast, all that stuff, maybe it'll awaken more people to all the cures and abilities of it. I mean, we saw me when I first appeared on the scene, how sick I was, how much I was hobbling and barely getting around. Now between the colloidal silver, the apple cider vinegar, the turmeric, and the cannabis, we saw how much I was able to get done on this film versus last, Cin.
Totally agree with the apple cider vinegar. I started taking like shots of it because I have it in the house. Because I was doing the keto diet for a long time. And then when I moved out of my house just recently, it was really difficult to have that prepared food because you really have to cook all your meals, or you have to have everything in like a bag that's insulated so you can keep it cool. Yeah. So I kind of got off of my diet, which is eating whatever was available. And I started getting agita multiple times a day. Yeah. And so I was like, let me try the apple cider vinegar. And I swear to God, I don't even take a full shot of it. And I don't have agita at all. I mean, like I could eat White Castle hamburgers, all sorts of crap. And it I don't know if it helps. I even felt like when I woke up the next day when I started it, my belly was even flatter. Oh, yeah. So I'm like, dude, I have to do this every single friggin' day. Not only am I comfortable, and it's like one thing I don't have to worry about anymore, like as far as pain, but I'm like starting to slim down. So I was like, okay.
Right? See, I don't be sure you're wrong.
I know, but I want to try those gummies because I'll tell you, that's not a nice shot to wake up to. It's very pungent. I don't even know how to explain it.
I take it in pill form. I take the apple cider vinegar in pill form, and I take the colloidal silver in my coffee in that way because, you guys know I like it real light and sweet. So, I don't taste nothing once I'm done like that.
You said that the silver has a taste, right? You said it has a...
Yeah.
Is it bad or is it tolerable?
Honestly, here's how it's the same thing that I think about with pain. If it's a few seconds, you can handle it. Whatever the taste is.
Oh my God, please.
Just fucking take another sip of coffee or something. But what I do is you take 5 droppers of the colloidal silver. Now, the one I get, Silver Wings, is the right one that everybody should be getting because all the other ones are so diluted.
Full droppers or 5 drops?
No, full droppers. And you can check on the package. It literally will tell you 5 droppers full a day for 2 weeks. So I put 2 in my first cup of coffee, 2 in my second cup of coffee, and then I always have coffee after dinner. So I put the last one in. That way it's continual. Just like, because some medicine will last in your system all day. You can take it in the morning and it's done. But turmeric and colloidal silver are the kind of things that it'll get more and more diluted as you go on. So that's why I space it out. But no matter what, if you took all 5 droppers, and I've done this, I started off that way. On my day 1 of colloidal silver, you can see the video on YouTube for anybody who's interested. Loren Molloy YouTube, bit.ly/Loren Molloy YouTube. You can find the day 1 of colloidal silver. I explain the whole thing for anybody that wants to watch that. But
damn. You were like,
see what happens when I smoke? I actually start thinking even faster. It causes the inflammation to go down so I can think better. But literally, I took all 5 droppers full, put it in my first cup of coffee, drank the whole cup. It was fine. I mean, you just add a little more sugar, a little more milk. I mean, my mom takes her coffee black, and she had a severe problem with it. But quite frankly, she doesn't like trying it.
Have you gotten her to start taking it, though? Did she feel the difference?
She's not a woman that takes things very well. Like, I know she wants to tell me that she did it, but okay. I told you guys, but I did tell her too. 1 bottle of the stuff will not last you 2 weeks of 5 droppers full. I did it, and I needed to buy it twice to make it through the 2 weeks. She still had half a bottle left after supposedly 2 weeks of doing it. So I move on.
Did she say that she felt any better?
Let's move on to me.
You're like, that's a lost cause. Forget it.
I tried to tell her all sorts of stuff, and she didn't listen.
Your video,
sometimes.
Yeah, but your video on YouTube made me want to buy it like right then and there. I was like, oh shit, because of what you're explaining, and those are things that I have to deal with going up the steps and not feeling great going up the steps or being winded or your knee hurting or something. And you were like, I flew up the steps. I didn't even realize it.
Yep.
That's when you know, yeah.
When
you know you recognize it at first. You're like, oh, I'm back to my 18-year-old self for a second.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I have nothing to do with the company. I have nothing to do with the product. I don't get anything out of it. I just did the research when I was looking into the Devil's Lettuce movie about how different types of bacteria cause the body's different issues. And all of a sudden, when I started looking hardcore into the different strains, I realized how many different types of viruses and bacteria really cause every single health issue, basically, when you look at the cellular level of it. So that's how I started even wanting to take it in the first place. And that's what happened. You're right. I literally didn't even realize until I came back downstairs. Like, it wasn't until you just said it that I realized once again, it was like, oh man, I ran all the way upstairs to pee. It came all the way back downstairs. And I didn't even think about the fact that it used to take me like, okay, 1, 2, literally counting the steps, just begging myself to make it all the way to the, you know how many times a day I have to do that just to go pee? And now I don't have that heat spot. I used to tell you guys, I would put ice packs on my tailbone. A fan would be on, literally on my tailbone, just to try to sleep through the night. I don't have any of that anymore. I also don't have to worry about any of the COVID stuff because it completely kills it. So between the apple cider vinegar, the turmeric at 1,600 milligrams to 2,000 milligrams, and the colloidal silver for 2 weeks, I am in 1,000 much better. 1,000 much better.
There we go.
I got what you said.
Cut. Take 2. 1,000 times better, truly.
Strike that. Reverse it.
Right. Strike that. Reverse it. And you know, with the colloidal silver, you take it for 2 weeks. And then you got to give your body some time because it is, you know, a type of metal. You don't want it to build up. So I waited a month, and now I just started taking it again today. And you know what? Thank God I started taking it. I went to go visit a friend, like at a park, and she gives me a phone call, and she's like, everybody at my kid's school, like, is saying that there's COVID and one of his friends. And I was like, I turned around and I was like, I'm not even going back outdoors again. I'm going back on colloidal silver. I'm hardcore taking the turmeric, and I'll just keep taking my vitamin D3. You know, I wear my mask. You guys know, I made sure everybody had masks and all. We did all the right steps for the movie and all that stuff. But like, I don't want to, you can be a carrier. And that's the other thing people never understood. With somebody with an invisible illness, other people don't understand how many people could be carriers for stuff. So yeah, literally now that I have an immune system that's not going to be worried about it because I'm taking all these things that can't possibly allow a virus to live in my system, I can still be a carrier that brings it to others, which most people aren't understanding. And I used to complain about it. You know, like family would come over and they'd be like, oh yeah, my kid's sick, they're at home. But you're here? Wait, what? Yo, carrier. Nobody understands. Now everybody's like, I wear a mask, everything's fine. I'm like, but still carriers. Take your vitamins, take your levels, you know, take your, that's why I called you guys. We're like, everybody needs to start taking something. I love you all. Please just take precautions.
Another thing that I've noticed with people, they're like, oh yeah, I put a mask on. If you're wearing a cloth mask or a fabric mask, you still have to wash it.
Yep.
If you don't wash it, it can live in materials and on surfaces. So you're going to get yourself more sick if you don't wash that.
Yeah. That's why also I keep telling people, just so you know, that whoever you could hear the background noises, I don't know, just so you know, I could hear.
Okay.
But also I tell people all the time to start diffusing peppermint oil, because peppermint oil or burning sage, because incense actually holds on to the molecules that are of bacteria and stuff like that. So those are extra precautions that most of the time people always say are silly or foolish. But if you're taking precautions where you're taking D3 and vitamin C and all that stuff, and then you're also diffusing peppermint oil, which is antibacterial. If you're burning incense with sage, that's antibacterial, so the air around you is not going to cause. Now you're doing multiple levels of, you know, protection, precaution, and all this other stuff. instead of just, I wore a mask today. And for me, I've been talking about this stuff way before what's going on in this moment, because with somebody with fibromyalgia and having an autoimmune issue, I was constantly talking about this for years. Like, you know, I've been on D3, I was getting B12 shots in my back, all this stuff. And I wish somebody would have just been like, bitch, colloidal silver.
Yeah. I have, my whole family has a vitamin D deficiency. And oh my God, listen to this shit. So my doctor's like, okay, I did your blood and your vitamin D levels are low. Here's some vitamin D and take it till it's complete. Take it till the bottle's done, right? He neglected to tell me to only take one a week. So I'm fucking taking this vitamin D once a day.
Stop. First of all, don't worry. Vitamin D is water-based soluble. No matter what levels you have, it can't hurt you, though.
Okay, because I was like, and then I'm like, oh my God, did I overdose on? Because it was such a, if I had a deficiency, it was once a week.
Multivitamins are where people get killed because of the iron that's in it and a few other fucking things. But don't worry. Go ahead. Finish your story, but don't worry.
So when I went back, he's like, oh, so you're still on that vitamin D, right? And I was like, no, I finished it in a week. He's like, but I gave you 15. That's supposed to keep you 15 weeks. And I was like, why wouldn't you make sure I understood? He's like, well, it said it on the label. And yes, my bad. But
although
I didn't think, I didn't hear it out of his mouth, nor did the pharmacist say, make sure you understand that this is only once a week. I took medication at the time. I was just taking my medication every day like normal. I didn't read the label, which it is my bad, but I would think that the doctor or at least a pharmacist would say, hey, hang on a second. I need you to know that this is just so you know, because some people don't read the label once a week. So I'm like looking up all this shit, like, oh, am I going to overdose on D
or even
whatever? I was fine.
A friendly reminder, hey, make sure you read the label and follow the instructions.
Okay, can we just go back to the part where she was concerned about overdosing on D? Can I have
it was a prescription.
Can I have a shirt that says I'm happily overdosing on D, on the D, like you all know what D is.
Sure, you could say that.
Like, I want to overdose on D this week. Yeah, baby. Let's go back to that moment. Like, Arthur, like crazy. We're not doing crazy anymore.
That for forever.
Like, I want to remember forever.
The D3 is different than like a regular D that I would have been prescribed, because I don't know if it was D3.
Really. There's a little bit of levels. D3 is more the same chemical compound as sunshine. So technically, if you have seasonal affect disorder, one of the first things they say is start taking D3 because it'll fix the tones, like serotonin and stuff, whatever.
So what about
levels?
Wait, it's calcium that you have to take with another supplement, or it won't digest.
No.
I don't know. Never mind. Well, I thought it was, I think if you take calcium, you have to take D or vice versa.
I don't think there's any
breakdown.
I think it's a marketable thing. It's a marketable thing. They're great.
I think it like builds up your system.
You have to. That's another one of those, like, you don't have to. But
I don't think you necessarily have to mix calcium with anything. If you need a calcium supplement, then you just take a calcium
anything. So
because if you take, if it doesn't break down, apparently you get kidney stones. So, something happened to my mom.
You're not technically wrong, I guess, in a way. I just, that has a lot of, it's like a science experiment. That's a lot of variables in there. You can't.
It all can depend on the person. One person maybe doesn't break it down as fast versus another person, because
what ketones are in your system and what level those ketones are, which is why the ketone diet is such an issue. But anyway, moving on. Also, D3 is water soluble. B is water soluble. The problem is when people take A or K, those can really get deadly, which is why multivitamins, that was the other one. So iron, A, and K are usually the problem when people take too many because they think, oh, it has a lot of C in it. It's fine. Stop that.
my niece got
Oh,
like
don't do that.
a vet. She got Accutane, which is like a enormous dosage of vitamin A for her acne, and it could like cause reproductive issues. So
Yeah, that's
it's
why I made
like
it for her. I was
serious.
like,
Yeah, serious. But she's 13, so
that by
she's
itself
okay.
is fucked up. Like that's like the Garcelle shot. No good, man. Literally, the owner of the Garcelle shot came out at her own public meeting to say that it purposely is made just for money and that everybody gets it, and this whole big thing. Google it. Don't.
What's Garcelle?
Garcelle shot is, I think, the one that was supposed to be for HPV, which is a bullshit.
Yes. Oh my God, I hear it gives you like worse symptoms than HPV.
Quite frankly, HPV is another thing that goes flying through somebody's body. It doesn't stick around. Everybody gets it, and it's another corporation issue that if you Google it hard
I've
enough,
gotten
you find
tested
out.
so many times. If it just,
I've
never had it.
Shots, and then we had an argument, and then I looked up the video where she literally comes out and walks away from her own product because she knew.
Good.
And I showed it to the doctor, and he just looked away, and then like decided to walk away from his practice.
And you know what's crazy? That had such a brief period of time.
It's back on TV.
You heard about it.
It's back on TV.
You heard about it, and then all of a sudden, you didn't hear about it anymore.
But they had to do a business changeover. She walked away from her business, so they had to take over. That's why the commercials are fucking back on TV again, acting like, get it now. Because at 13,
really?
That's when they fuck up your repossession. That's what they tried to do with me at 13.
Oh.
I get pissed about way too many things, and people are like, you're so angry. It's because of how many things I've researched, known, and like, I got told I was wrong.
You're so angry.
I do. I'm so angry. I need my cigar. Hold on. Where the fuck is that thing? Oh, I'm going to get it. Hold on.
Yeah.
My pocketbook's close enough. Ready? Ready? It is. My pocketbook's close enough. Oh, and earrings attached.
Wait, what are you getting?
Yeah.
All right.
And that's how I direct folks.
So what is that, in fact? Is it just vapor, or is it oil in there?
I honestly, that's lipstick on there, just so we know, but that's Curaleaf.
I'm like, ooh, what's that say?
That's lipstick.
It's lipstick.
I'm not really sure with this one. It's more like a vape. I'm not super thrilled because it's basically chemicals, but it's safe when you're driving. Because like you thought it was a regular e-cigarette. So when I have to do cross-country driving, cross-country, like I've gone cross-country in my car. That's not what I meant.
Well, practically last weekend, we all drove like
Dude,
3 hours.
I drove
enough miles.
I drove 9 fucking hours with fill up. Okay, guys, fill up is when my bladder is now fill up. There's been no bathroom for about 4.5. Okay, Jess, we were on some rustic road for like an hour and a half. I had to pee. There was nowhere to stop. And she kept being like, town has to show up soon. We finally find a town, one gas station. There's a line out the fucking door. And the woman that's in the bathroom that doesn't seem to ever want to come out is the manager. I'm now annoyed, so I knock on the door very politely. And she's like, hey, here. And I was like, okay, just checking. The woman behind the counter comes out. That's the manager. And I was like, oh, I'm out. I am out. I need to pee way too much. That was like when we
should have pissed right on their fucking floor. Be like, oh, yeah?
I can't pee outdoors. That's how we got stuck. I was like, I don't want to pee.
You see, this is the game we were playing of driving down the road and looking at all the places we could have pulled over for her to just like
pee
hide behind some bushes or a tree or something.
Girl,
she's like,
come
I could go there, but I'm not going to. I could go there,
Loren.
but I'm not going to.
Loren, we've all been there.
Oh, well, it started out I was going to stop, and then Sin was like, do you really want to go here? I'm pretty sure we'll be near town or people soon. And for her to like...
Either that or a car is going to come down the road.
Yes, that was the other part of it. And I was like, for her to be even like, hold on a second. So I was like, fuck it. Yeah, I'll get back in the car. I get back in the car, start the car back up. And now miles of cars are starting to swoosh by. And I was like, yo, that would have been the moment where I've been like squatting stuck. Oh, my ass. So we kept driving. And then all of a sudden, it's the most idyllic, beautiful country lane road forever, 87 miles or something ridiculous. I'm going, I really need to pee. We can pee over there. I'm not gonna. Oh, look, do you think they have a bathroom? Definitely. We're not stopping there. Like
every single house, farm, building, hiking trail.
I need like an Olympic medal for how long I held that pee in, man. Like, yeah, it was so bad. It was so funny. It was a good game, though. It's the only way.
No,
I
you
made it.
also leave out the fact that we also did pass like a porta-john on the way there, but you were just like, no.
Yeah, but the porta john was on like somebody's property, and in country territory, you don't just go into that random porta potty. Like it was
Could
like
have been like a body hanging in there.
like
Yeah.
yield. We're not pulling up to the Carnigo property, and I just need to use your porta potty. This woman is not using a porta potty. I'm not trying to be a diva, but all of my issues say no. Okay, no. I had to use the porta potty with my ex's kids once, and I just looked at this girl and I was like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "We'll make it happen." It was so bad. And I'm like, I'm trying like to be the adult in the moment and not like show how grossed out I am for this child. And then she got out and I'm like, antibacterial. Like I went like control freak as she was like, all right, we're gonna walk away.
Right? I
And we're
know.
leaving.
I'm like, I really didn't aid that child's development well in that moment. But I did. I let her pee there, so at least she got to pee. You know, level to Loren, why she is not actually a full-time parent. You want to pee where? No. So bad. But you know what it is? Those things are gross. You never know what's in it, and like, if you're by
When
yourself,
it was last taken out. Ooh.
and those are not safe if you're by yourself. Lots of girls get harmed in porta potties. I don't give a fuck what people think. They don't understand the amount of shit. Porta potty and shit that I have seen. It's just not okay. The amount of people who have done confessionals with me, and I discovered some real awful shit that had to be taken care of because of porta potties is bad. Like porta potties are used for all sorts of crazy stuff. That's why you don't see them around anymore. That's why like beach bathrooms aren't just open anymore. Because like, oh, are you done in here? Like you don't want to go into those. And most women have no idea how many places they shouldn't just wander into.
Yeah.
It's sad. Women are not taught to protect themselves, and it sucks.
Or at least just don't wander into a situation unprepared.
Well, don't go into somebody's property and sound, and just start peeing in the porta potty. Probably is a good first step. Let's not pee
I mean,
here.
it was outside like a hiking trail.
Yeah, that's pretty much how yield started, right? I mean, let's be fair.
Oh yeah, duh. When hiking goes wrong.
Quite frankly, after we even made that movie, I went hiking somewhere on Long Island and found another place where there was people living, and it was bad, and there was a bucket. And then I got lost. It was hot.
Went hiking after we made yield too, and I went with someone I didn't personally know. Mom knew him.
Oh, that's bad by itself. That's a bad start.
Yeah, but she knew him from work, and she actually knew him very well.
That means nothing. That's worse. Do I have to kill somebody? Let's discuss that off camera. Good. Okay,
no. He's a good guy.
All right.
And I thought about that, and I'm like, if this was anybody else, I would tell them, don't do that. Uh-huh. But because it's me, I'm like, it's fine.
Your kitchen is fucking gorgeous, by the way. Sorry, I got high. Because I got high.
Like, I know what to do if something goes wrong.
Thank you.
Yeah, my first thought is, when we were filming this last time and I lost track of you for a second, Sin, literally, I was like, it's okay, it's Cinthia. And then I made you, yell out anyway because you were in the dark and you were in the field. Nelson was like, she's fine. She's at the car. He doesn't understand my concern because, he's a normal person and I'm, neurotic. But,
I went to the car I was getting, your drink or something or a water bottle.
It was pretty far away. I mean, it was up and around a hill in the dark. So it wasn't
yeah. That was after I pulled my leg.
Oh, yeah. I was going to get a water bottle for Jess.
Oh, yeah.
And, all of a sudden, I was like, Sin.
I'm like, I'm here.
When we were done with a scene from my part, when I walked up, it was a lot further than I thought. Because when I looked down, I was like, holy shit, I can barely, there's light over there and I barely see it. That's crazy because it was all behind the bushes and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I could. Oh, it's so much better. So I must have just pulled it. What happened was
Did you like
it was
roll
right
it or something?
No, so it was my calf. It wasn't my ankle. It was right at the seam of where my boot ended. And I think it was
Oh.
just the tightness of my boot around my calf. And when I was running, it was going up and down and just kind of stayed up. And I felt that rubber band.
Ren.
It was bad. And it was sore for a couple of days, but now I can walk on it just fine, no limping.
Loren.
I'm never gonna be sure enough. I'm never gonna be sure enough. It was going up and down, and then it stayed up.
And I'm just like, what is she thinking? What happened? What did she do?
I'm wondering what the hell you're looking at.
I'm looking at you as you're talking about something was going up and down. It was just
Girl, what's on your mind lately?
Lately, it's always like that. I just don't usually show it, and now I'm tired, so I say fuck it. Like, I'm just trying to hide all that stuff and just like hopefully people accept me now. Quite frankly, bitch, I've been alone most of my life. You don't like how perverted I am. I entertain myself with that shit.
What are you smoking, girlfriend, over there?
Incense.
You
behind the camera.
We know what you're smoking, Loren. Don't even worry.
I was like, and then I saw the smoke on the screen. I was like, oh, okay, because this is not.
Yeah, because I was like, I spent quite a bit of time with you, and you did.
No, I don't know. I don't partake, but like.
What kind of incense are you burning?
Sandalwood.
Ooh, love sandalwood. So good.
My cousin, last time I went out, I was I was making sure like he got out of the house for a while because he's a teenager, and like just his mom was like, you need to get out of the house, and I will pay someone to make sure that you leave the house and just get some physical activity and socialization. So of course I got the phone call and I'm like, okay. So I would we would go for a walk or to the mall or something just to like do something and be a human in public.
That's awesome. I love the way a human in public.
I'm not good at being a human in public myself, but that's besides the point. But last time we were out, I got incense because he was like, hey, you want something? Do you want some incense?
Oh, that's sweet.
And I'm like, yeah, thank you. Because I don't ever buy stuff for myself.
Right.
Unless it's like dollar store candles.
Dollar store candles are awesome. I love them. It's really good for spell work.
By the way, speaking of which,
the kitchen's pretty.
No, my full moon candle is still lit.
Good.
I kept. Yeah. So on the candle, it's a glass candle, and the night of the full moon, I release all of like the things that I wanted to release from myself and whatnot, and it's like down.
Yeah.
Say again?
Listening. I said I'm listening. Yeah.
And things have been lighter. And it's such a unique feeling to feel what burdens don't feel like. I didn't realize the heaviness of burdens on your shoulders until they weren't there, and I was like, oh wait, my mind has space to focus on something else. Oh wait, I have a little bit of energy to actually do something different. And I didn't realize. So on this candle, anybody who's listening, when a full moon comes, one of my girlfriends does this every full moon. If she has some things that are heavy on her heart, she will put whatever she wants to release from her life on the candle, and she leaves it burning until it's out. It's it's like one of those dollar store candles that are in the glass containers that are long, the tall ones.
7-day ones.
Yeah, I guess it's 7 days. And then you keep it burning. If you don't feel comfortable with it burning when you're not home, put it in a bowl of water and just leave it burning, because if it tips or anything, it'll be fine. And once it's done burning, you just trash it, and those things are no longer on your shoulders or in your life. So mine's at the little itty bitty bitty bottom, and when I wake up tomorrow, it should be out, and I will put it in the recycling, and hopefully things will be. But
sure
as
the house.
so as so I wrote it horizontally down, and as the days went by, whether it was in my head or not, every time the wick went past what I wanted to release, the less I felt that problem.
Good.
So
that's excellent.
Even if it is just in my head, it's working for my life. Yeah. Good. Yeah, I think it's pretty amazing.
It's awesome.
All these techniques, you guys, once I started hanging out with you guys more often, I started becoming closer to the people in my life that were already there, that had the same values and beliefs, and they just coming in, and they started directing me on how to fix these issues that I'm going through right now with this move and whatever's in the atmosphere here. And I thank you guys very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Because it's making a distinct difference.
I'm so glad. Seriously. And like, you know, that's one of those things where, because you put the energy out, because you put the work in, because of all those other aspects that most people don't realize are part of the process, is why that's working so well for you in a way. You know what I mean? Not only do you have people behind you, like, you know, the Puerto Rican Witch and us, but you also have you that's standing your ground and deciding, I'm not going to be afraid anymore. I'm going to start like conquering. I'm going to say my bullshit, but you know, that doesn't mean like anything derogatory. It's just more, I say bullshit in a way because it's more like, then it doesn't have the weight or the ownership. It's just crap that we're throwing out. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, but anything that you say to me, Loren, for some reason, I never take it to heart. I never thought you had like any alternative motives or anything. So if anything came from you specifically, Cindy, I don't know you well enough, but you simply, you know, but Loren has, we've been talking since we started this show. We've been talking a lot more. I don't take it that way. So you don't even need to start your conversation like that. Just tell me what you're thinking, and I'll just be like, all right. I'm not going to be like, oh, that bitch, you know. No, definitely not. It's like, all right, she's trying to guide me. She went through this already. We're going to sort this out. Yeah.
Yeah, good. And I'm glad. I think that's also one of my own, like, because I've had so many narcissistic personalities in my life, like they automatically want to pull stuff apart. So it makes
and be defensive, right?
Yeah, and I do that all the time. So very often I realize I'm either over apologizing or like over explaining that I'm not trying to be mean, because of how long in my life I've dealt with people who like immediately try to be like, that was mean. And I'm like, no,
you know what though? Because that's how it is. Because when we were filming, you were doing that a lot because you didn't know everybody. You know, like you didn't know Al and how he responds to anything. You kind of knew me, but you know, like you had to constantly explain yourself because you didn't want to give off. And you were really good about it. You always kept up on it. You always made sure that you thanked us. You always made sure that you encouraged us. You would direct us and tell us what we were doing wrong. But you always like, listen, this is me. This isn't you. And you did it so often that it made it comfortable for us to understand, all right, listen, what if she comes off short? We just understand, like, everybody's fucking tired. Everybody's cold. She wants to get this done. We want to get this done. She's just saying it. Just fucking chill, you know? But yeah, you want to hope everybody thinks that way. But that takes a lot of work. You know, that takes a lot of self-work to be okay with hearing that shit without being like, fuck you, you know, like, well, hey, what are you trying to say? Like, get over it.
I also think that comes with the like acting, filmmaking, any like performance level environment. But it might be just because my experience in it, like Renaissance fairs, haunted houses, school performances, outside of school performances, people might come off as short because they're trying to get that information across to you as fast as possible. You want it done, they want it done, we want it to be done right, like as fast as possible, just so we can move on.
And it's also hard, like, when we're all friends and joking around, that's great, and I can be silly and sit here with you for hours and never sleep again if you want. Yeah, we'll bullshit until Armageddon comes and the trumpet's horn, and I'll say what up to everybody. But like, when we have a few hours and it's getting colder and we're all bullshitting talking about all these great ideas for spring, it's like, stop, sit, stay, let's go, moving forward.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like when we were laying in those hotel beds until like 3 a.m, just random.
Oh my God. Okay. So so I had a memory. Of me coming in and out of sleep, but laughing at your jokes, but clearly not only laughing sometimes. Yeah, and you probably were like, what the fuck is wrong with her? Is she sleeping or is she not? But like, I would wake up and hear something and then giggle. And, is she
like,
sleeping?
are we waking her up?
In her sleep? No. I would catch something and be like, oh, and then fall back to sleep.
She's so cute. And she had like the minute she fell back to sleep, guys, it was like this little snuffle sound, like,
yeah, and she'd like pull the blankets up like real close to her face.
And, like, thank God she was a heavy sleeper, because me and Sin were like both battling, because the bed we were sleeping on, for me, we each got our own bed. It was the only hotel I've ever stayed at where there was
I've never
beds.
seen a hotel where you walk in and there's 3 beds lined up, and I'm like this is special.
It was totally like Schitt's Creek, like, for fuck's sake. It was just a different color.
I loved it.
It was nice.
I liked it.
I liked it, but my
that
bed.
Tub was like a stand-up shower, but a tub. Like, it was so tiny.
It was like a little dirty, but that's okay. It was more rusted. But like, my bed, I was starting to make jokes with Sin. Is my bed pine or oak? I don't know. I feel like I might die in this one. Like, that's how like stable the mattress was. It was really a stiff mattress, but like, it was bad. So like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm still going, do you think this is pine or oak? Like, just because it had to be made out of wood. There's no mattress on my mat. I started asking her, I'm like, can you feel your springs in your bed? I can feel my springs in my bed.
I was only on one side of my bed. I should have asked if you wanted to try my bed.
No, I tried the same fucking thing.
I was fine. And that comforter was so comfy. I was like, I loved it.
She's so great. She has no diva in her at all. I have too much, because I literally was like, this blanket's a little scratchy. This pillow just.
It was random things, like would be quiet, like dead silence for like 20 minutes, and then Loren would come out with just some random thing about the pillows groping her or something.
Well, that's the thing. When you're in physical pain all the fucking time, like Loren, it's hard to tolerate little things. Like, I've been there. I've thrown out my back, or I got allergic to something and I had an allergic reaction. Like, everything was like, I wanted to pull my skin off. So I think it's not because you're a diva. I think it's just because you tolerate such pain all the time when you just want to be fucking comfortable and it's not working out.
Plus the exhaustion level. Like, the night before I went to bed because my body was killing me. It must have been like 1 or 2 in the morning. I woke up because I need to take 3 hours for my body to get functioning, to be able to get into a car and drive, because my hands and stuff issues. So I had to wake up at 5. So I woke up at 5, drove about 4.5 hours to get to the location, and then only slept for about an hour and a half the next night, and then spent like 6.5 hours in the car. So like, there's only so much energy for patience and like a pine bed. Like, I don't know. It's the only way I can function is make jokes out of it. You're right. It's the, to have that much pain and then lay down and then have it be like, wow. Like, I literally got up and my body was in so much pain. I was concerned about the drive home. That's how like firm it was, that literally one whole side of my body was in excruciating pain. And there we are in the morning, as it rained for some reason, in a field, and I'm like doing all these maneuvers or whatever. and then still had 6.5 hours drive home. And you know, the worst part was I still didn't fall asleep until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. That's why I posted that picture of what it showed, how much sleep I got. Because it's always like that. So when you add like 35 years, I'm going to be 36 October 11th. 1984. I think I'm going to be 36. Yes. I don't know. I lose track. I don't give a fuck.
I know how to do math.
It's just because I don't give a fuck. It's crazy. It's like, I don't give a fuck what that number is. I'm alive. Past that, who gives a fuck? It's my birthday. October 11th. But like, you know, that's almost 36 years of basically awful sleep all those years. So like when you have, and then you need a few minutes to be able to get some sleep just to possibly make it through the next day. Those, you're right. It's the little things are also, it's like, you know, the baby just, like, I can't. Like, I don't have the patience for this also. Fuck life. And then I go, okay, everybody. Because, like, I'm not going to weigh down everybody else's energy and shit just because it's another day in the life of Loren, you know?
Mm.
So what really helps me sleep if I'm having trouble is I take magnesium. It puts me right out. Or a handful of pistachios.
You. I love you. It's never going to be like that. They put me on trazodone at 1,500 milligrams 3 times. Yeah, and it does. It's what the psych ward patients get, and it didn't make me sleep. I love you.
I wasn't a psych ward patient, but I was on trazodone because I didn't want to take Ambien.
That's what I was on first. Yep.
So this was years and years ago. And let me tell you, if you wanted to feel a marshmallow world or you're awake but cannot move your goddamn body, trazodone will do it. That's it. You're done. Well, for me anyway. Really?
I saw
Your
gremlins on
like,
nope. I saw gremlins on the ceiling. Quite literally, I was screaming. I was having night terrors. I understood that night terrors come from gremlins. That I literally, to the point where Mama had to come downstairs and hold me down, and I was like, gremlins! Like, that's how bad it was, to the point where literally I still didn't sleep. My brain, with fibromyalgia, your brain doesn't connect to the level and the right wave that your body needs to be able to get to the deepest level of sleep where your body heals. So there is nothing that works on this planet. What I do is realize what my body's going to do, and then just accommodate the rest of my life accordingly. But I do take that 5-HTP stuff, and that stuff helps this first day.
What?
Anything I take just the first day. After that, I'm immune to it.
Dude, because I think because like I'm not on medication or anything like that. And HTP. I need to do something. You were talking about the 5-HTP.
That's the major one. 5-HTP is an all-natural chemical that when you take it right before bed, about 100 milligrams, it literally boosts your serotonin levels. When you boost your serotonin levels, not only does inflammation in your brain and the rest of your body go down, because lack of serotonin actually causes inflammation, but it actually will help raise the levels that will help you induce sleep and fix depression all at the same time. It's a
so only take it before bed?
Oh, yeah. Last thing you do right before you go to bed is take that motherfucker. Because it hits you hard. It'll hit you hard.
It does? Okay.
But not like scary-wise, just like make sure you're done. And then...
Because I would have taken it right in the morning.
No!
I don't know. It says... it does? Okay. Because I was going to say it helps with serotonin levels, and if I'm on not on meds and I'm feeling down and shit because of all this fucking clutter... I moved from like a 2-bedroom, 800 square foot home to, I think this is maybe 400 square feet, not even. It's like 388.
I moved from a 2-bedroom room with no, like not even a studio. I moved back into a regular room with all my shit. Like I literally had to throw most of my stuff out. It's awful. But hey, my mom needed it.
Yeah. Good.
But don't think of it as close.
Is it good for you?
Of course not. I'm going to be 36. It's never good for anybody at this age, but that's why I'm saving up. I would have already moved out if it wasn't for COVID shit. I'm not going to live on Long Island. That's not healthy. So I got to start looking at Pennsylvania and Jersey because those are safer.
Shit. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so caught up in my own shit. I'm being so self-centered. You specifically asked me to like look around for you. Listen. Okay, so because of the situation,
slapping her with pillows, like she's apologizing. I'm so sorry. I had a life, and I didn't look at her.
It's not even like that.
through a video. Can I do that? Like throw things through the phone?
So you guys, all right. I will be moving soon per all of your requests because of my situation. I mean, all of you, even the Puerto Rican rich.
The Puerto Rican witch agreed with all of us. That's how you know it.
Yeah.
You know.
So I'm looking.
So I'm moving there.
But Loren, just tell me like what you're looking for as rent wise, what's your minimum, what's your maximum, and while I'm looking for mine, I'll be looking for yours.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll get off camera and we'll talk about all the details.
Because I'm trying to move on by February, March of next year.
Cool.
The only reason why is because I have to give 60 days notice here.
Yeah.
So it means I'm stuck here. Once I give notice, I'm stuck for another 2 months.
I really want to read all your contracts for future dates. I really need to.
Hey, listen, it's better than signing a lease for a year and being stuck here for a year. This is month to month.
I have commitment. I would do month to month.
Oh shit, you can move in here, but it's $1,600 a month. You would love it. The ceilings are super high.
I would.
Huh?
I have a lot of bad jokes on how I'd make income there.
Hey, listen. Nobody discriminates over here. As long as you pay your friggin' bills, that's it. That's all they care about. But there is a lot of still water. There's literally 4 lakes within 50 feet of me. So, girl, your light is going to be shining, and they're going to be coming. So,
hey, I'll eat them like I give a fuck.
I know, you're so confident. I'm always like,
well, that's because I've been doing this since I was an infant. I was literally in a crib, infant with a bit staring at these things, dealing with them since then. So I mean, I've conquered so many different kinds of stuff, and I feel like Sin would be like, no, bullshit if it wasn't true. She'd have a face like whatever face Sin makes that I can't make because it's my face. But like,
she knows. We've discovered over the
6 months or so.
Well, specifically over filming, that whenever I make a face or like say something in my head, she'll know. Because my thoughts are just that loud.
I have to say. Okay, wait, Sin, how's the haunt? Sin has a haunt, everybody. So if you guys need to go to haunted houses and stuff, Sin and her family run a haunt. How's it going?
It's going great. We don't run it. We've been part of it for about 3 years now.
What's the name of it?
It's called 13th Hour. It's in Wharton, New Jersey.
Hold on.
My mom is there selling her dolls. Me, my dad, and my sister are all in the house in different spots. They have all their escape rooms open with
is that correct?
different safe. Yeah. Yep. There's all different safety measures that they introduced because of COVID-19. So everything's being properly sterilized before and after and intermittently throughout the night. They also have recently opened up axe throwing, hatchet throwing.
Nice.
And they also have virtual escape rooms that they've started up. I'm not sure if those are running currently, but
so it's like a friggin' it's like a fair almost. So you got a haunt.
Yeah, there's a lot of
activities. You have vendors.
It functions out of 2 warehouses. The main haunted houses are in one warehouse where the escape rooms are as well. And this guy, he puts everything into his animatronics, the decorations, the painting, and all this stuff. It's really awesome.
Guys, gotta check out their Instagram page. I wrote on it. I said, with Tina, Sin, and Cammie Brown, you have an epic haunt. I made sure they knew because these guys are.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah.
But once that's done, your family has to come here and sort of check out what's going on.
We already have that planned. We'll talk about it off property.
I know. Tina was like, as soon as everything frees up, we gotta make our way over here. Should I send your mom pictures of the property?
If you want to, that can only help out when she's trying to like.
Sin, do you really
where-
see her feel anything right now? Let's just get it clear. Do you really see her feel anything right now? Because I don't got anything going on with her.
I don't either. But
I think it's that, in my opinion, Sin, I think it'll stay out of her property because she made a step forward. It'll say, fuck that, it's too difficult. I'd rather fuck with the owners. That's my opinion of it. What do you feel?
Yeah, probably.
Right? And guess what, dude? It's fucking with the owners. It's the fucking with the owners so bad. We came back from filming the first weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
A car jumped through trees onto the property, flipped over, hit an oil tank on the side of one of the units here, took out half the house, and ended up on its hood. The dude got out, somehow survived, and ran back to his fucking house. Okay? So that was number one. We couldn't even get here. We had to park right on the church like pretty much on the stoop of the church we had to park, and walk back to our unit. And I was like, there's a fatality. I know it. There's a fatality. Everybody's telling me this place is no good, blah, blah, blah. All right, nobody died. But that shit happened. And I always wonder if that person saw somebody in the road that wasn't there and swerved out of the way onto the property.
And they could just pull it. I'm listening.
They could what?
They definitely got pulled onto the property because you're not getting messed with anymore. She had to find another source, so she's going to go back to the owner.
But that was the first way when we were filming. But now things are breaking like crazy on this property. Any of your shit?
Yeah. Any of your shit?
Nothing here.
Okay.
But the pumps that are pumping.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So the pumps that are pumping the water into the units are breaking. He keeps coming and asking if everything's okay. There's a frigging gas leak in the unit next to me. We keep smelling gas. Like they said that this sucked so much money out of them that they didn't want to put any permanent housing here. They just wanted weekend rentals because they just wanted the revenue coming in and out, in and out. They didn't want anybody just staying.
Fucking property. Motherfuckers know exactly what's on the property. That's the only reason weekend rentals in.
The only reason why they have a few units that are long-term is because when they were making it, the person that governs this area switched the laws so that you have to have, if you're having weekend properties or short-term properties, you have to have some long-term. So these units, when we moved in, they weren't even prepared for long-term units. So there was just towel racks. There was no cabinets. There was no storage, nothing. So when we moved in, they had to add all of that stuff so they may have known that. They may have known that the Browns are trouble.
Oh my God, we gotta get you up a level, Jess. I love you so much. She said Mason. She said May.
Well, I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know if these guys know that, but when we did come,
they purposely wanted only to do weekend rentals. If you don't understand that statement, I have to come hug you. I mean, I
think they just wanted the money. The way that they talked, they just wanted the money. But when we were being interviewed for the property, they did tell us about the burnt diner that's under the gravel here. They did say something about the kid in the pond. So they kept saying, well, there's probably dead people buried here and there's some in the lake, blah, 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 in a joking manner.
Oh, my God. I don't know when. Tomorrow, I don't know what to do.
Okay,
I took it as joking.
Go ahead.
The way that they were saying it.
There was this book that I read as a kid that I think I told, it was either you, Loren, or Jess. I don't remember who I told. But it was called Wait Till Helen Comes. And it was about this family that moved into a house and there was this spirit in a lake that was off like a like some sort of dilapidated building, and she like drew the youngest kids into the water, and she like progressively did this with like every single family that moved in.
Lady of the Lake.
Now I'm cold. Now I need a blanket. What the fuck? I hate talking about it. I stopped talking about it, and it's fine. Go ahead.
Like that's what the immediate thought that it's off my head. When you told me about a lake near a building, I'm just like, okay, it's this book.
With real estate, they legally have to tell you if people died on the property. It's not nice.
Yeah.
They legally, the fact that people aren't told.
So they were joking. They were saying it in conversation, but they told us. Yes. They were saying it as a joke.
People died on this property. You're not gonna be like, okay, but they're like,
no, they were, yeah. They were like, there's somebody probably thrown in the lake. You know, the diner burnt down, and we just built over it.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like them just telling me in conversation because they're good talkers. They really are good talkers. But that's why, huh?
We're gonna have to make some plans off camera.
So you see, they know something, but I don't think they know the extent. They don't know the extent of how much energy is really there.
No, come on.
They have people.
You're way too nice. You're way too nice.
They have people patrolling the area because there's a stream right behind here that people fish in, but apparently you have to have a permit to fish in there. Yeah. But they have people patrolling the area constantly, and they told me that it was because people will illegally fish in the stream. But I'm like, at night?
Yes, because if you overfish a stream, you can actually fuck up an entire population with.
Okay, so even though the patrolmen are going at night. Okay. I thought maybe there was something behind that too.
Totally something about all of it, and Sin was way too nice because she doesn't want to scare you, but I'll give a fuck. Not cool, man, not cool. They fucking knew. I'm gonna have to come visit and have a little talk with Mr. I talk really well. He's gonna have.
His name is Ross Blakesley.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna write that down.
I also don't think that they're as smart as Loren is giving them credit for with having all of this knowledge on everything.
No, I don't mean like all the supernatural. I don't think they want to, no matter what. I still think they know perfectly well there's some serious bullshit going on.
So I was also talking.
I'm saying they know. I'm just saying they don't know the extent of everything.
Like there's a lady of the lake, of course. I think you're. I don't think they want to say that. You know what I mean?
There's a guy next door that's just like taking a break from his wife. They do it every once in a while. He rented it. They're wealthy. So he rented like the cabin next door to us. The reason why I said he's wealthy, meaning like he could just rent a $1,600 unit for like 6 months at a time, and it's no big deal. So he's doing it for 3 months. But so I said something to him. I asked him how he was feeling. Is there any disturbances? You know, I was notified. I kind of have to have in this situation. I was just wondering if he felt the same thing. And he's like, dude, I just rented an RV, and me and my wife are going down to New York, North Carolina, because I am depressed as hell over here. Yeah. So this thing that's making me, draining me and depressed and whatever. Not me anymore, thank God. I think he's onto the guy across the street, and for him to like take a complete, like not even planned, was like, dude, we rented an RV and decided I haven't been feeling good, I've been really down, we're taking a trip. What I am concerned about is the woman that's in the unit next to me. She's like almost 90. I talked to her when she moved in, but like she hasn't been out on her porch. It's been beautiful. It's been beautiful out. Like for the first couple of days, she was like, "Oh, I love it out here. I'm going to sit on my porch every day." I haven't seen her.
Have you?
I mean, she's alive. Have I what? Have I killed her? Yeah, she's stuck on the mite bed.
No, I said, do you smell her? I was like, do you smell her?
Right? No. So when I walk past, I always see her in her chair with her feet up. So I know that she's like there and still alive.
Psycho, where you only see the legs in the chair, or like,
I know it sounds creepy. Okay,
can I tell you, please stop connecting with your goddamn neighbors? I love you to death. Could you please stop connecting with the other people on this property? Fuck off. You don't need any of them. You love too much. Pull it back.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Don't worry about her. She's fine.
There you go.
Okay. There you go. I figured she's either too exhausted or too jaded for that.
Listen, can you explain what I meant by that? Because I can't. Can you explain to her why I said stop connecting with your neighbors? Because I need your help.
Don't have ties to a place where negativity stems from, because then the negativity will follow you as long as you keep those connections.
The minute she found out about this thing, she wants to make bond with every fucking neighbor on the property. I just love everyone. I just want to hug everyone.
So I was just curious.
Oh, I know.
I was curious. I was wondering if it was just like I was manifesting it. Yeah.
Oh my God! You got to get the guilt complex out. We got to get this guilt complex out. It's
you know what it is? It's not even the guilt complex. It's whether or not I know what myself is. Like, I don't know myself and my feelings yet. I've blocked them out for so many years, or numbed them with substances, that now that I'm clear of everything, it's coming in, and I'm surrounding myself with better people that are making me clearer. I'm not confident in what I'm feeling, so I'm checking to see if others are feeling the same thing.
And that's what we all do, I think. Like, I constantly check with Sin, or I constantly check with the Puerto Rican witch or Tina, like, because one of the good reasons to do that, and Sin, always tell me if you disagree, because I don't want to just go down a whole path without backing it up. But one of the things about always double checking with other people is, one, as long as you think about who you're checking with first. Do you agree what they're saying? Are they on the same path? Are at the same level? Are they above your level so they can give you a better
Are they going to judge you for saying it?
Are they toxic? Are they healthy? What choices do they make in their life? Are you checking? Do you look at somebody and go, the choices they're making in their life and all the topics that I need to check about are ones that I respect and approve of?
No, his values don't match mine.
I'm talking. See, there we go. Also, for you, one of the reasons I check with Sin, Tina, Clarity, Puerto Rican Witch, and certain others is to go, okay, is it me, or is it a negative entity? Is it a situation? Is it a wound? Because otherwise, ego and pride goeth before the fall is always the truth. So that's why I always try to work as much as I can on the flaws, remembering what they are, working through them, so that I could say to Sin, is it me, or am I right about this? Because we have so many narcissistic manipulators in our world that they'd love to gaslight you and always make you think that you can't or are not capable. That's why we're supposed to know people, like for the minute I saw there was an issue with you, I knew I had to contact Sin and Tina and Clarity, so that I made sure it wasn't just my opinion and I know best. Anybody that does that shit is always going to be wrong, because that means they're way too self-absorbed to be able to have a proper opinion, I feel like. So, but I don't go the other way with it. What would you say, Sin? Because I'm not trying to overtalk you. I want your influence.
No, sounds pretty right to me. I mean,
balanced, yeah.
And I think that's also what it is. That's why I always say about working on the wounds. It's why I get upset with myself that I still have this emotionally avoidant toxicity issue. Like, the only type of romantic attachments in the past that I would like would be somebody who was emotionally avoidant and closed off, just like my parents were, or just like my father was. So now I have to constantly work at what the wounds were that manifests that, where that would even be an interest. Do you know what I mean? So that in each case, as long as I'm working at all those wounds, then I can know it's not me, or it's not cognitive dissonance. It's not trying to put a blinder up to myself. It's literally that person, that situation, and it helps build that indicator right above the belly button. Would you agree with that, Sin?
Yeah. I don't need to repeat anything. I don't need to add anything on. Like,
Love her. And that's how you know it's right. And that's why, I mean, that's why I check back with you all the time, Sin, because I want to make sure you feel like you're being heard and you get your chance to speak, but also so that it's not just Jesus, it's just this one girl and everybody's just going, oh, but at least, when we were on one of the locations, you and I, we literally were able to be so accurate. And Jess, we had talked about this, I think, last show, where I was like, is that yours? Yeah, that's yours. Okay. Is that yours? That's yours. Okay. Like, are you feeling this? Did you see that? Or you should come up to me and be like, just in case. And I was like, oh, I just said that to this one. So that's one of the reasons that I like when people go, is it me or is it a situation? What I always say to women is be careful who you're asking. If you're asking a man, you're already in the wrong direction. If you're asking a fellow woman, you have more likelihood of getting a better answer. Now, I'm not trying to hate on men, but they come from an entirely different realm of point of view. If you think about the movie Yield, there's a bunch of 1 stars on it and it shows what gender liked it as 1 star versus 5 star. They're only men. And me, Sin, and you have talked about the fact that at the end of Yield, there's a moment where most men do not understand it, where if you ask a woman, she completely agrees, and that's how she would handle it. Me and Sin were sitting on the beds in one of the hotel rooms talking about, with you, Jess, we were talking about how we would handle that next moment as women.
I remember.
Okay, now when I asked a bunch of guys, we got a very different answer, and we all said in a group, we would never do that. It's because as a man, they don't have the same worry. None of them are really worrying about somebody penetrating their butthole. All right, let's be quite clear on that. Women have to be worried about all sorts of levels of disrespect and invasions of privacy. It's the gentlest ways of saying that. Because men never have to live with those problems, they don't have a point of view where we are always living from a place of like, you see me, guys, I'll use reflectors of windows and doors and whatever else to make sure there's not somebody coming up behind me. Unless a man has training, he doesn't usually think of those things. Unless he's been harmed, he doesn't normally think of those things. So when you're figuring moments out, like the ending of Yield, there's a lot of men that go, I wouldn't have done that way. Like one of the guys that was going to play in the movie, and we actually said, sorry, because of the point of view difference. He literally was like, no, you should have stabbed everybody. I'm like, that wouldn't have worked. And when you find out, how badly she would have been, raped and then forced to give birth for the rest of her life and not get to keep those kids, and then either turned into like kidney pie or being forced to be another incubator constantly and R-worded and all this stuff. Men thought that was the worst ending, that she should have fought in some big fight scene, which would have never happened. Women go, yeah, absolutely. That's exactly how I would have handled that moment. So because the point of views are so different from a level of having to survive, where men don't even think of that stuff until I go, do you understand this is what that means? And they go, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Okay. Which is why I'm saying I don't mean it as a slam, because you guys know how many guy friends I have. I mean it as be careful checking with somebody who doesn't live in a way, in a point of view that is also something that you relate to and respect, because otherwise, if you're saying, is it me? And they say yes, you're going to believe them. But if they're their whole life messed up and can't understand your point of view or worry about your bunghole to make a joke out of it, then you're asking the wrong person. Because if you ask them, would you do that? And they say no, and you go, okay, then I won't do that. And they literally would never live that way or can't, then you're asking the wrong type of person for advice on something that you need to live as you. Does that make sense? Because like usually, I'll say, don't ask a man. And I don't want it to ever sound like, no, you guys know I put Nelson in so many different like positions of like protection and authority, because as a dude, he was able to keep an eye on the situation. Same thing with Al.
However, but Nelson is unusually sensitive.
Yes.
For men that I've met. No offense to men and your sensitivity levels, but he seems to be very balanced as far as what's right and wrong. He was definitely exposed to some healthy woman-man relations.
I don't know about that, but what I do know is the type of sensitive you mean isn't like, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, it's more of a sensitive to understand. See, people pleasers, like being brought up as a people pleaser is a way of explaining it without slamming anybody, because you need to be so focused on individuals to understand the moment that they're not happy, the moment they're uncomfortable, the moment they're stressed, so that you can do something. That's where class clowns come from. That's why me and Nelson get along and work well together. That's why we all work well together, because we're all looking at each other going, that person just got slightly sad, because he's able to be sensitive enough to look at each individual and go, all right, that one's stressing out over that. This one needs help here. Let me hold that hand and take. He's individually looking where most men are looking as a whole, going, nobody's bleeding. He's looking at every individual going, right. I feel that one's sadness. Like every time I was about to have an emotional breakdown, he was able to make a joke out of it, do something weird, make me do a weird giggle, or go, hey, we got it. Just like you guys
become a lamppost hiding behind some leaves.
I love him for that.
He's so good, right? I know. When I was having that situation where my sugar dropped, Alfred was, I was sitting in a car, and Alfred was like looking and trying to treat me outside of the window. And he was like, hey man, I'm going to move some stuff in the back seat of my car. Why don't you get in the back seat with her? But for him, like, you know what I mean? You could just tell the difference right there between Alfred
and that's why I had him on
Nelson. Because Nelson knew I needed somebody next to me helping me. I didn't need somebody feeding me through a window slot this big. You know, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't even open the door. He was just like, here.
He was also doing that, so you know. He was doing that trying to retain heat. If the window was open all the way, it might have made you colder. Now, from a point of view of a man who was in military training, he's worried about your core temperature. So if he feeds you through
telling me that, because I had to think about it.
He was thinking totally logically, she's cold, her sugar's dropping. I need to do this to help her physically.
So he can't just physically throw shit out the door or a window and just get in there with you. So he's worrying about without trying to cause stress. So that's one of the reasons I'm also friends with so many military background training people, because either law enforcement or whatever, is because I grew up with that mentality. I understand that side of it. Nelson,
thank you for telling me that, because I had a little thing about it.
But also, in
myself, I didn't express it to anybody other than you girls.
He could have used his words better, but most men aren't able to use words. We're also not in the society to teach men to use words in the same way without acting like that means they're something other than strong or secure. So that's why we're breaking through so many stereotypes and problems in 2020 and future days. But Nelson is also one of those guys where the reason I put him on Yield, besides being an incredible actor and talented, and he did artwork for it and whatever else he did, because he went over above, because he's that dude that just will for his people. But I made him secretly promise me to be security on Yield, because I wasn't sure about some of the guys. I never met them before. We're all staying in the same cabin. There's going to be girls sleeping there. He slept in the most uncomfortable cot outside the girls' bedrooms to make sure no guys tried to bother or harm them, so that I could sleep, so that those girls were safe. And I made sure, I was like, listen, I don't want everybody to know that you're doing this kind of security, because if somebody's trying to cause a problem or cause harm, they'll wait until you're not paying attention or too busy. I'd rather them not know about you at all in that capacity and then possibly fuck up in front of you, instead of I'll wait until he's in the bathroom to harm a girl, because I've dealt with too many cases of too many personalities.
Damn,
that's why.
Girlfriends.
So
I must have lived a really charmed life. I would never, sorry that you had to experience that shit.
Well, it's good in a way, and I would never, ever, even my worst enemy, I would never ask for them to have my life. But that's why I'm living it, so that I know all these situations and can say without a doubt, like, you don't have to be like that. You could just be better than. Like, you don't have to be like that. You have to be the example you want to see in the world, and that's why I try to do. That's why I can easily kill tons of people and hide the bodies. That's easy. It's living and being a good person and keeping humanity.
I wrote a book about it. No.
Seriously. Very dull to herself. But like, so Nelson was doing this job where day and night, not only was he doing other stuff, he was literally making sure that the young girls, which were on set, my 20-year-old that was on set and sleeping there, was literally safe while one of the other dudes is now pacing throughout the night trying to get closer and closer to the rooms. Like, was he just pacing or was he creepy? Nah. No, and he even said, oh, I'll sleep in that bed for you. And Nelson's like, no, I'm staying here. He never told, from what I know, a single soul that he was doing that type of security for me. Still hasn't. I'm the one that's speaking out because he deserves that level of praise. That's also why on this movie, he already kind of does it, is because he knows how I felt about it. That's why when we had to do that scene where there was that abandoned building, immediately, first words out of my mouth was, Nelson, please check. Because I don't have any worries that he won't be able to handle himself. But that's why I also said, Al, please follow him, because Al has military training. So if I'm going to have somebody at Nelson's back, it's going to be Al, you know? So it's that kind of thing. And that's why, like, I get so frustrated in some cases is because people don't realize how many extra precautions really should be taken for women. How many situations.
Yeah, you know what? That I luckily I've had enough protection around me that nothing like that has ever happened. Because yes, my mother has prepared me on those things. She's embarrassed me beyond belief. I'd be like in a car just listening to music while she's driving me somewhere, and she'd be like, turn off the music. She'd be like, listen, if anybody tries to take you, I need to know how loud you scream. I need you to scream in this car right now. And I'd be like, Mom, I'm not going to scream in this car. She goes, you better scream, because someone's going to take you one day. You better tell them what your name is, and don't say you're being kidnapped. You scream fire. Like, she would say those things. But because I'd be like, this woman's a nutcase, because I had no idea about the world until I got older.
I got taken twice.
I never, ever, like...
motherfucker down the first time. He tried to put me in his basket when I was getting off the bus the first day of first grade. She came flying out, grabbed me out of the basket, kicked the bike over. Second time was a guy tried to pull me into a car. Yeah, I was only in first grade. Yeah.
Holy shit. What
the
fuck,
I've never actually been in any of those situations, but both of my parents came from environments that weren't the best mentally or physically in some cases.
That's why
so I know I'm very fortunate enough to know these things without ever having to have gone through these things in my life.
Yep.
Wow. I'm really sorry that you know, that's a really, I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, I always thought that, like, I always thought I was special. I always thought God was on my shoulder watching me. I always felt it. I always was like, nothing's going to happen. And I lived my life like nothing's going to happen. Because for some reason I had such faith in the Lord because of what I was born. I mean, I was raised by a woman that was a born-again Christian. My mom worked 3 jobs, so she had a babysitter. And she taught me what faith was in such a beautiful way that it never left me. And since I was a little kid, was I praying, knowing that my life was going to be okay because I knew the Lord was watching. And I don't know if that has something to do with why I didn't have these incidents.
Oh, yeah.
But
absolutely.
I was prepared for them. And I just thought that the people were preparing me for these crazy incidents were crazy. But it's very true. And it happens every fucking day. And I'm so... Go ahead.
I worry about people who are so
naive. Yeah.
Blindly faithful.
Yes.
Because yes, God is there. Yes, religion is a beautiful thing. Yes, there are gods and angels and all these things that are watching out for us. But like, they're not these all omnipotent, all powerful beings that everyone
they can't prevent you from hurting. Yeah, and they can't prevent.
They can do what they can, but there is a certain amount of balance in the world. You can't have light without dark.
You have to have an Akashic blueprint, so everything happens based on that.
Yeah,
maybe I just knew it. I don't know. I never feared. Never, ever, ever, ever.
And for me, I know, okay, so, I know I've talked about the story where God proved it himself to me so quick recap, but I was a little kid. I was allergic to everything. I went to an allergist. They did the little print and prick where they find out what you're allergic to.
I love this story.
So,
Totally.
I was allergic to everything, dogs and cats. I go outside, crying hysterically. It's like 4th, 5th grade. And I look up to, the universe, and I was like, listen, God, you either make me not be allergic to dogs and I'll be on your side forever, or don't, and I'll be on the other dude's side forever and fight you forever. I said, all you got to do is make me not be allergic to dogs, because you got to understand, I had a very abused childhood. My father was every type of bad man in the world. Plus, he was an attorney, so nobody could stop him from being a bad person. And my mom did the best she could, but she dealt with it the best she could. So I was in a lot of hell, and I figured a dog would protect me. So I make my mom go back to the allergist, and quite literally, the only thing I'm not allergic to is dogs. So I was like, God, I'm yours forever. So I was about 13 now, moving on.
I don't know if you made this clear. She was allergic to dogs the first round of allergy tests. Yeah. Then she goes back, and she's not.
Only so like 6 months later, maybe 6 months most, because they didn't want to like immediate, like next day give me an appointment. They'd be like, are you fucking kidding, bitch? Plus it was always out of pockets for those kinds of doctors. So my mom's like, we're not just going back tomorrow because you talked to the sky, I was like, no, God said yes, wait. So, but then later on in life, I was about 13. I had written out a letter. I was deciding to end it all. I was going to kill myself. And I had all these pills, and I was ready and all this stuff. And literally I walk out the door, and this tiny little purple Bible falls off a shelf that I haven't touched in years, like dust is caked on, and the thing falls so loud it scares the shit out of me. A tiny little Bible made a booming sound like it was a boulder, but it opened up to the book of Job. And the book of Job talks about how one soul is a bet between God and the devil, and they decide they're going to take everything away from Job and see if he taps out and says, fuck God, or if he says, doesn't matter what you do to me, my faith is always still connected. So I'm reading this story while I'm still holding my suicide letter in the other hand with the pills. And I go, all right, I get the message. It's fucking Job time. All right. I rip up the letter. I throw the pills out. And I realize that all the stuff I've gone through is kind of like the book of Job, whether it's supposed to be the same kind of thing or not. For that moment to happen, for that book that's never been opened before to fly off a shelf, boom, in such a sound that made me jump and turn around, and it made me understand that all the hell I've gone through is so that this moment here, I could be saying I went through all this stuff, and there's not a single fucking excuse on the planet to harm other people. I can kill anybody I want. That is the easiest fucking thing to do. Plus, that is not the way to stop bad people. Torture. Anyway, jokes. When it gets too low, I make it a joke. But like, it's literally a book of Job thing for a lot of us, I feel like, where we go through all these horrific things, whether it rape or abuse or, whatever, homelessness. I've had all of them. I've gone through all of it. And at the end of the day, every situation, it's either that situation can win or you can win. But God put you on this earth. You got a soul that's magically beaming for a reason. And if you're not there, your domino can't click into another one that causes the effect that the world needs in that moment. Whether it's me saying, yeah, all this stuff happened and it changes nothing. Yeah, I cry every day about it. I got all sorts of wounds and issues still kind of from it. But like at the same point, I can look at somebody and go, yeah, that happened to me too. Why are you stabbing people? Because that happened to you too? How about we be better examples? And I feel that's kind of the story of Job at the same point. It was like, doesn't matter what you get, all the illnesses, sicknesses, homeless, losing the loved ones, whatever it is, at the end of the day, to say God did it is foolish. That means the other guy got super PR team, like the best PR team you'll ever get, Hello. So in my mind, it really is more. We got to stop blaming it on God when things go wrong and realize that there's a whole other side trying to make sure you tap out on the world or not, continue doing good stuff. And that's why, like, no matter what happened to me, I can go, yeah, that happened. They tried to take my truth away. I won't let it. But at the same point, we all get to grow from it. And those people that have gone through any of that stuff, now they're not alone. They know, hey, there's somebody else out there, and it doesn't have to mean like awful shit. It means you can keep rising above like the lotus flower,
Yeah.
Speaking of people like checking in, she just came out because mom sent her up because I'm outside.
That's hilarious.
I've been outside. Because that's like the
Hilarious.
only place I can record without there being like a whole lot of ambient background noise. Because birds and people, and our house is 600 square feet.
Yes, they have over 21 birds, folks. Please check out Tina's Bird Sanctuary and Rescue on Facebook. And make sure you check it out. They have a lot of adorable birds. They're so cute.
We've been slowly introducing them by name so that everybody can kind of get to know them.
Try to share them around a little bit, but we're just finished filming some more of the Devil's Lettuce movie in the Lamport Hemp Farm. That was an awesome location. What did you guys think of that?
Oh my God, I've never seen pot plants so beautiful. Really gorgeous. Muddy, because there's mud all in the back of my car still. No boots.
Oh my God.
But,
do you know how many days it took me to clean my shoes?
Yeah, dude, I had to. Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure there's still mud on them in some places.
Well, poor Nelson, he had to film in the morning. Jess, you missed the whole morning shoot because
he covered in mud.
It was pouring, so we couldn't even
do the sunrise
shot. We wanted to do this beautiful sunrise shot. It's fucking pouring. Now he has to wake up from the mud, and I had to keep getting him to do another take because of the rain. It would mess up the focus. I was like, he's like, sure, I'll lay it in the mud again. Like, he's such an awesome dude. Like, any film
lay in the mud for 10 minutes.
When I was driving home, it was so foggy. I was like, she's not getting the shot she wants. But then I saw a picture of you guys. I believe there's sun behind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, I think so.
So eventually it cleared. Okay.
Okay, by the way, me and Sin were driving back. It was a wrap. We said goodbye. We're literally like 20 minutes after wrapping, driving away. And that's when the sun comes out. Quite literally. And we're like, what? Literally, the whole drive back was the most beautiful fucking thing. Meanwhile, Nelson's laying in like puddles. Gorgeous.
Right?
So gorgeous.
I know. Those mountains on the way back. Oh, so beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
now I know why. And now I know why Charlie was taking pictures that one day when he hit the deer. Because I wish I could have been taking pictures. And I was like, damn, I wish I had one of those cameras on my rear view.
Yeah.
Just to take some of that landscape in. And it never comes out good on a camera. It never comes out as good as what you see.
Yeah.
You gotta have a special camera.
I actually got some really good driving videos because I had like locked it on one of the little things. So we did like a few driving videos and post them. But like I lucked out because Charlie drove us around some of the fields. So I was able to just like out the back window take pictures. So I'm going to slowly start posting them to the Devil's Lettuce Instagram page and Facebook page. By the way, guys, we're running an awesome fundraiser for those that love cannabis. We're having an edible pumpkin pie cake fundraiser through the High Horse Cannabis Corporation. I forgot their whole name right now.
Out of Massachusetts.
Yes, out of Salem, Massachusetts, a female owned and run edibles company. They are doing the fundraiser. Please click the link. You'll see it in the comment section. And all money from this amazing edible cake fundraiser will be going to making the film. And guess what, guys? We have already solidified and locked down our spring location. I talked to the owner. It's a go. It's going to be in upstate New York. It is freaking gorgeous. So we're going to be filming in spring at some epic place upstate again. So it's going to be good stuff. Good stuff. Yes, girl. It's going to be good.
There's also a casting call for any interested up-and-coming actors or actresses for detectives, right? Detectives or police officers.
We need one male lead. We need detectives, and we need people who will play cops, and we need them to have their uniform with them. So a lot of people who might play cops in backgrounds of things like Law and Order and shows like that usually have to bring your own cop costume. So please contact us. We've already had a few people, 1 or 2 that might be excellent. So definitely throw your lure in our water. So,
We will bite. Yes.
especially if you're cute. No, just kidding. But yeah, it's going really good. I'm super excited. We have some amazing new equipment that's going to be coming in as well. And yeah, so we're super excited about it. It's going to be really good. I'm excited. Yeah, so we're starting filming again in spring, and then we're having another fundraiser after that. We're also doing a fundraiser for face masks that have the devil's lettuce logo on it, so that's really exciting too. So definitely make sure you buy 1 or 2 or 17 or 40.
Yeah.
But you can check all that out on the devil's lettuce page for sure. Anyway, I can't believe we've
the more you buy, the more we'll all be your friend.
Right? We'll do
yes, yes. We have to, oh my goodness. I've been slacking on sharing. I have to do that tonight.
Yeah, share, like. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you share the fundraisers, stuff like that. Yes. Anyway, I think we should wrap it up. What do you guys think for Tits Tuesday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
My camera's decided to just fall over.
We had sin on Tits Tuesday. Yeah.
Yay, Cindy!
Yay. So thank you so much, guys. And once again, please make sure that you share, like, and donate to the good cause, which is Happy Horrors Productions and Devil's Lettuce. Until next Tuesday.